Hey everybody, this is Bonnie Barker. I'm back. Finally, it's been a couple of it's been a ride, I guess, the month of August. So thank you so much for joining us. And Heather, I saw that very generous super chat post. Thank you so much for that. Um, I apologize in advance. I'm still coughing a little bit, but it's so much better than it was 2 weeks ago. Not sure what I had. I tested negatively for COVID, but whatever it was, it got my attention. So, but anyway, I'm back. Had an amazing time in Pittsburgh, and I'll tell you all about that in just a bit. But let me look here. Um, the big news here is that we are grandparents for the first time. Thank you, Becky. I think Becky might be joining us today, depending on how she can handle the baby. But anyway, it's such a joy. I have not met these beautiful children yet. So Becky's baby was born about a week and a half ago, and after the conference ended, I traveled to visit my son and daughter-in-law who live outside of Pittsburgh, since we were right there. And we were all on baby watch for my son, who's down south with his beautiful wife. And Saturday evening, they gave birth to a very beautiful and healthy son. So we are just over the moon about it. We're real excited. We're going to be heading down um, through the weather to the south. Thankfully, that hurricane, I believe, has pretty much, excuse me, dissipated. There's still some wind and rain left from it, but we should be able to travel. And we're going to probably take more of a westerly route so that we can miss out on a lot of that. And Kelly, I hope you all are okay from that storm. I know Hannah was in a tornado watch box yesterday, but things turned out fine for them. Just definitely a lot of wind today, so you all be very careful on that. Excuse me. I love to talk, and I had a great time talking with a friend yesterday. I'll tell you about that in a bit, but let me go ahead and say hey to some of you all in the chat who have been so patient. Um, Marie, so good to see you, my friend from Charleston, and Kelly, thank you for your posts there. And I saw that you got some of that storm yesterday. I hope you guys are doing okay. Um, Maybe it was a different storm in Tucson because that was probably not the hurricane. Um, and I hope my Florida friends are okay where that storm came ashore. Um, I just hope everything's all right. It thankfully was not a super soaker like a couple years ago in North Carolina. Remember when all the rain fell in Wilmington and then it kind of ran down um, the the rivers, that's the word I'm looking for, and into South Carolina, and did a lot of serious flooding in the areas where we usually visit. So, um, and Kelly wants to know, why aren't you going to do the live tomorrow? Well, because I'm going to be on the road again tomorrow, heading down to visit some grandbabies. My husband wanted to get an early start to the weekend since it's a holiday weekend. Excuse me. And so we want to spend as much time as we can down there with those little ones. So we're going to be leaving Friday. And I just didn't want to miss yet another week because we missed 1 week because of me being sick. That was 2 weeks ago. And then last week, I was teaching in Pittsburgh. I was actually teaching my knitting class in the morning. And well, let me just go ahead and tell you all about that because I'm going to get so distracted. Um, we had it's just a wonderful time, and if you all are anywhere near the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, and you can drive to this conference, especially if you are on a very tight budget, this is probably the lowest cost conference that I attend and that I'm aware of, where it's an overnighter kind of a deal. It's in an older hotel. I mean, I don't go there for the hotel. I go for the people, for the experience, for the interactions, and that did not disappoint. If you want to travel to a crochet conference, to go to a destination location and enjoy, the beaches and all the other activity outside of the craft, um, pick another. But if you're going for the crochet, for the maybe the knitting, maybe to learn a new skill, and this particular conference, not only does it do crochet and knitting well, but there are also other classes that I had never heard of in dealing with, crafts. I've heard of spinning, but there were, I think, some spinning classes. There was a class on how to dye yarn. Um, there were a couple of other crafts, like I said, that were I had never heard of before, and that were being taught. So if you want to expand what you do, it's a good conference. The classes are very economically priced. I'll just say that. And there is a decent yarn market there. Now, the yarn market is not like thousands of vendors. I mean, that would be just totally overwhelming to me. But there were about 50 vendors there, 50 vendors, and they had lots of yarn. And let me just go right into that. I found some beauties there. There was a lot of yarn there, more than I really had time to look at. And then there was another room that had a lot of quilting supplies, a lot of, they did have some quilting classes and things that related to sewing. So, but anyway, I wound this up because I couldn't wait to start working with it. And yes, I have begun a design that I had very specifically in mind. And the name of this company is called, Interlacements. It's interlacementsyarns.com if you're interested in looking them up. And this is rayon yarn, 100% rayon. And I was particularly looking for a very drapey style yarn like this, and I just didn't know where to get it. So I thought I'm just going to wait, and I'm glad I did because I found this beautiful yarn, and it's going to be a very special item that I think you're going to like. It's not going to have cables. It's going to be an easy to crochet, but I think a very functional item. So let me check something here. Okay, thank you. I've got 2 people helping me today. Yeah, Becky said name of the Pittsburgh conference is called. There are actually 2 names that you can find it under. It used to be called the Pittsburgh Knit and Crochet Festival, but that has since been changed because it was bought by a different lady a few years ago. And it's called the Pittsburgh Creative Arts Festival, which is actually a better name because it's not just knit and crochet. It's quilting and spinning and dyeing and all sorts of other things. So there's a lot more going on with that. Yeah. So thank you, Hannah. She's also asking me, what are you talking about? So that was just this past weekend. It's going to be again in August of next year. I don't have the exact dates, but it'll be about the weekend in August for 2024. So if you want to consider or think about blocking that out for next year, the last weekend in August, that will be the Pittsburgh Creative Arts Festival. I would love to meet you there. We had a group of about 8 of us. I think it was Friday night, and we headed out early to the Olive Garden and had a delightful meal there all together at a big long table. I posted some of those pictures on YouTube, and there's also a video, just kind of a photos slideshow on my YouTube channel from the event. I didn't really have a lot of time to get a lot of pictures and interviews and stuff like that. I was just very busy teaching and enjoying every minute of it. Got to meet some old and new crochet friends there. I'm trying to think. Anyway, so I even met another YouTuber. I'm trying to think of her name. My mind is not working probably the way it should. But anyway, let me show you some other yarn that we got there too. I got 3 of these for a new design. You remember the Rahab scarf, that red? Actually, I have it. right back here. I was working with this yesterday with the new video that I'm making with Laura of Jewel Designs. And I'll talk about that in a bit. But you remember this? It's just a regular long wrap scarf with the cabling on it, and it has some two stitch basket weave trim. Well, I made this using the same yarn by Laura. It's called Knobby Stash, and the company, or the company online, is Created for You by Laura. And this color just caught my eye. I thought about using a different yarn that she had there, but I just can't get enough of this knobby sock yarn, with the Donegal in there, if you can see that. So these are my two yarn finds. I wanted to tell you this ball of rayon, it's sock weight, 900 yards right here. So I can't wait. Super drapey stuff. I can't wait to show you what I'm going to make with that. So, and I'm already got it on the hook. So this is going to be held aside for a little bit, but I'm going to be designing something with that very soon. Excuse me. So let me get back to saying hello to you guys and gals. Heather, again, thank you so much for your generosity. Let me check to see what is it this month. I can never remember, so I go back and forth. Okay, last month we donated to the Shriners Hospital for children, and thanks to the generous super chat. Whenever we reach 100 or more, we I try to come up with a song. And we got a little thank you gift I wanted to share with you. I'm going to put this on my Christmas tree this year. This was part of the Shriners Christmas in July celebration. It's just a little ornament I can hang on my tree. And it has a little button there reminding me about Shriners. So thank you all. This will remind me of you guys and your generous hearts on the super chat and in my business in general. So thank you so much. So what do we do with the super chat? For those of you who are new to the channel, is whenever we hit 100, I try to do a fun song, or I'll do something with music, hopefully. And then the money that you donate, we send it either to Shriners Hospital for Children or the Rancho 3M, which is a Christian orphanage and school in Guadalupe, Mexico, which is one of the poorest areas I have personally been to in my life. But they're doing a fantastic work there, even in a dangerous location. They are doing a fantastic work there with the children. And I have seen this firsthand myself. So thank you. And Hannah's asking, sending Sandy's message to me, if I know about the Fiber Fest in Hagerstown. I did see that. I think that conflicted with another date on my schedule. I think I wasn't going to be in town, but I did see that. But since I'm already doing the Frederick Fiber Festival in October, I think that's why I'm not able to really do that one. But I would like to attend that at some point and find out more about it to see what it's like. Excuse me again. All right, let me get back to you guys. So, and Heather's message says, don't know if I can watch. Congrats, Bonnie, on your grandchildren. So exciting. As a grandmother of 6, I can attest to how wonderful they are. I'm praying for safe travels for you. Well, thank you, Heather. If you watch the rebroadcast, thank you so much. And again, for your extreme generosity there towards us and others. Angie's good to see you in the chat. And Jacqueline, as always, from Los Angeles. And she's thinking and praying for those hit by the hurricane. Very nice. And Miss Wanda, so good to see you in the chat from Bahama, North Carolina. And she's hoping everyone is safe as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you're in the Carolinas, you pay attention to this hurricane season time of the year because you know it's just a matter of a twist or a little turn and it can come get you. So we're North and South Carolina probably get just as many, if not more, than Florida at times, or at least that's been my experience in the last 20 years or so. Um, I think I've been through like 2 or 3 with Mrs. Barker just in the past few years. It's been kinda nuts. Um, and Anna says, "Hello, everyone. I see you got grandchildren, Bonnie. That must be almost as overwhelming, wonderful as getting newborns of one's own. Congratulations." It is pretty wonderful, Anna, because I didn't have to have surgery to get grandchildren. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy for my kids and just the way the Lord has blessed us. It's not always a given. So, and I have to tell you, through both Becky's labor and my daughter-in-law's labor, I honestly never felt anxious for them. I just really did feel the peace that passes understanding that God promises to give. And um that was just really cool. I mean, I was concerned, I was interested, don't get me wrong. Does that mean I slept well when Becky was in labor? Absolutely not. I was waking up every hour checking my phone just to make sure I didn't miss something because I asked them, I said, "Call me no matter what hour of the night." And it turned out to be at like 4 in the morning when they did call. Very happy to get that call, but never really experienced any, angst or anxiety. So I knew the Lord was in control, and it was just so good to be able to trust in Him in times like that. Thank you, Anna. She says she's recommending my yoke construction for any top sweater or cardigan. I tested the popcorn yoke. That's what I'm wearing right now. Um, and it's the first pattern of its kind that isn't too big across the back. Oh, well, thank you for that. I'm glad that worked out for you, Anna. And Phil, so good to have you join us. She says, I'm home this weekend, enjoying the beautiful 67-degree day here in the Catskill Mountains in upstate New York. Yes, I'm not way up where you are, but here in Maryland, it just feels nice. This is my favorite time of the year. I can bring out the ponchos and get to wear my boots again. So not there yet, not there yet, but you can you hear that the bugs make that sound in the tree in the evenings when the weather starts to get a little bit cool. So we know it's the end of summer because we're hearing that a lot in the evening and it feels nice and crisp in the morning. So yes, I am ready. I am ready for that for sure. Especially after being down south a lot this summer. I'm ready for something a little cooler. Um, and Red Hooked, hey, so good to have to meet you all again, to see you and have a meal with you. Yes. She said she had a great time in Pittsburgh. Thanks again for teaching me to knit. Congratulations on the grandbabies. Thank you so much. Um, I must tell you one of the highlights, and Becky knows this. I never thought I'd ever say this. One of the highlights for me was teaching my absolute first in-person knitting class. I have taught this class, I think once or twice on Zoom through Crochet Guild of America during the pandemic, but never in person. This was so satisfying. I was able to use my new setup with my projector that I have now and my light box that I'm bringing with me to project an image of what I'm doing so everybody can see clearly. All 8 or 9 people in the class, everybody learned to knit. In fact, these crocheters, and it just proves my theory that I don't want to say knitting is easier than crochet. It really depends on what you start with first. But knitting is very, very attainable using the continental method. If you've been frustrated in the past and trying it, like me, I was frustrated for years. I never could quite get it. But eventually I did because my Russian friend sat down and introduced me to the continental style, which I had never seen before. it just worked so well. In fact, they were knitting so well with the knit and the purl, and we had and the cast on, and we had done everything that was on the in the curriculum that I provided, that we still had an hour left. So we ended up learning how to do ribbing. Everybody picked that up like that because crocheters are smart. And we learned how to knit in the round so that by the time we were leaving, everybody was already well on their way to making a headband. And we covered a lot and quickly because everybody was already very skilled with their crochet. So picking up the knitting was a no-brainer. And there is a lady in the class named Amy who was a very, very good knitter. I was like, "Why are you here?" And she said, "Well, I she does the English method and she'd never done the continental," which was a very easy transition for her. And she was very helpful in the class too, and helping um, just little tidbits here and there. So if you're listening at all, Amy, thank you so much. And so thank you, Red Hooked, and just the rest of y'all who took a chance on me. This was my first time, like I said, teaching the class, but we had a blast. Nobody was crying, nobody was frustrated. We were all knitting cheerfully. And I mean that for real. I'm not making this up. Of course, we started out with really big needles and very, very thick yarn, but we all had success. So yay, yay, yay. The other classes were a bit more challenging with the cabling and also, but it was fun. I think everybody had a good time. I had a blast. So thank you all again for that. Um, Let me go down through some more. And so finally seeing Becky's comment there that you probably did about 20 minutes ago. Hey, Becky, thank you for joining us. And Hannah, thank you so much for being there. Again, pardon the cough. Let me. Mm. All right. It's one of those things. I feel fine. It's just the throat will not let me go. And thank you, Red Hooked. Do I have knitting videos back? Yes, I do have knitting videos on my channel. If you go to playlist, but don't look for real fancy stuff now. This is mostly for beginners, and they're designed for crocheters to transition you to the continental style. And I go very slowly and I explain it as best I can. Um, I've seen so many knitting videos where they just and they just assume things that at least I didn't know. So it might be a little tedious if you know how to knit already, but I do have beginning knitting classes. I'm sorry, videos on my channel. If you go to playlist and just look for the knitting, and you'll find it. There's probably at least a dozen there, and I do have them for right and left-handed. Okay. Good morning, Cynthia from Illinois. And okay, Phil wants to know, did you bring your own yarn to classes like that, or is it provided for you? Um, I try to make things, I guess, more cost efficient. So I have you find your materials, but if you take the knitting classes, I list the things that you need to bring. I recommend a pair of circular knitting needles. I think wood is the best for beginning because the yarn doesn't slip off so easily. Um, and I recommend, maybe a 24-inch, nothing really bigger than that. Where what I mean by that, oh, I don't want to get into all the details, but you can look up circular knitting needles online, or you can find them really anywhere at Michael's. But I have them use like a size 13 to anywhere from like a size 11 to 15. Anything in there will do the trick for learning. But I specify size US size 13, which is a thick knitting needle. And a super bulky wool yarn works the best. But if you only have super bulky, like number 6 weight acrylic, we can work with that. I was telling the class, discovered that when knitters prefer wool, it's not just it's not just a snobbery thing. It's not just a yarn snob thing. But wool tends to stretch and bounce back, so it's easier to knit with. Because if you cast on yarn, if you especially if you're learning and you cast on acrylic and you cast it on the tight side, it's really hard to stick that other needle into that space. So wool allows flexibility for that. So I recommend like a just one ball of bulky weight um, yarn. But and again, that said, you can still use the chunkier weight cakes and things like that. It works just fine. Um, but anyway, that's yeah. But to answer Phil's question, yeah, I just have people bring their own things because I honestly never know who's going to be in the class, and if we have extra people that I'm not prepared for, that could be a problem and leave some people without. Okay. There's a question from Diane. She says, I just finished the wheat field caplet and love it. I also wanted to know, can the summer shell be made in fingering weight yarn? Um, you might be able to. Yeah, I used a medium, I mean a number two, I think with either two or DK weight for that for the summer shell. If you I don't know, I don't know. I that might be kinda tricky because I did use thicker yarn and the numbers are gonna be a little bit different. I mean, you can try, um, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that, Diane. Uh, I might have to think about that one. I think you might end up with a shirt that's a sweater that's a little bit tighter unless you're very careful to stick with the gauge. You might probably gonna have to have more rows to get the same length because of the thinner yarn. So I think that may not work quite so well. Now the sweater that I'm wearing here is using a fingering weight um, cotton yarn. It's using the universal pop sock yarn that has a little bit of elasticity in it. So it makes for a really nice summer lightweight top. And I would be careful if you do things like this to stick with the universal yarn because other yarns under the same number are not gonna have the, PBT elasticity to it, so it will fit a little bit differently. Alright, let me see. Let me go ahead and tell before I get back to the chat here, I may not get to everybody's comments. Pardon me again. I have a lot to go on here. Let me go ahead and tell you, um about one more fiber festival you might be interested in. This is the last one I'm doing for the year. It's in Irving, Texas. It's called the DFW Dallas Fort Worth area, DFW Fiber Fest. This is September 14th through the 17th in Irving, Texas. Um, Registration, I believe, is still open. So definitely check that out. And the classes are I love crochet cables, big and bad. I'm big and bad. Ugh, let's try that one again. Big and bold. Maybe some people are think they're big and bad after you take the class, but big and bold cables, tassels, fringe, and other knotty trims. We're just going to learn how to make all different types of creative, trims that can be used on ponchos, throws, all sorts of home decor. And we're gonna have a class called Taking Great Photos, and we're gonna say of your fiber designs. They've changed it to be more inclusive so that it's not just of your crochet, but, of your crafting, really. So I'm really excited about this class because I love photography, and if you have any, inclinations of getting into design work or just even selling the things that you make on Etsy, your photography skills in a sense can make or break whether you do well or not. Because that's the first impression that you give is the photography of your projects. And there are a lot of things that you can do. And I'm gonna be this is pretty much like an intro um, to photography, but I'm gonna be covering some pretty fundamental things that I actually have learned along the way and I've been doing this a long time. I still consider myself an amateur photographer, because I don't make money per se uh, as a photographer, but I am earning a living with the things that I have photographed. So maybe I am. I don't know. But I don't have super expensive equipment. You don't need to have a $10,000 lens, or or even you don't even have to own a 30, we used to call 35 millimeter cameras, but now they're SDL. No, um, DSL. Okay, DSL. You don't have to have, like I have a couple of these in my collection, but you don't have to have even a camera. All you need really is if you have a phone in your cell phone, or a camera in your cell phone, that would be enough to take this class. And there's so many tools in this. Uh, in a lot of ways, these cameras that they phones that they make these days are probably more powerful than a lot of the cameras that we owned 5 years ago. So anyway, I have a lot of fun tips and tricks in how to do that. The class, and if you're not interested in selling your wares or getting into the fiber arts industry, if you just want to take better family photos, or just better pictures to post on Facebook, things like that, I think we're going to have a fun class in there. All right. The Inishman Poncho is doing very well on YouTube. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this is the Poncho. It is live on my YouTube channel and getting a lot of attention. Thank you, thank you. And has this collar. It can be worn, as a turtleneck, and you can also unbutton the collar if you'd like, and wear the collar more open. It's an off-centered collar, and that's on purpose. Um, and for those of you who are my watch subscribers, this is a paid subscription. It's $6.95 a month for those of you who aren't familiar. There are no commercials, and I don't have spam on this site. It is just pure crochet designs, and there are many complimentary patterns that you can just download. You don't have to pay anybody, don't have to give your information away. Um, and this is one of them. So this was released. Actually, it was a re-release. I updated the design to make it a little bit better, and I think I wrote the pattern out a lot better from what I had written several years ago. We do our best, but as we get older and more experienced, we just get better, I think. And it was just for me, I looked at it and I'm like, this time to update this. So I updated it, made it a little bit wider. So it just will be a little bit better of a fit. And it is a one size fits most. And people have asked me if they wanted to like make like a 2X or 3X. I still think this would fit, but if you wanted to upsize it proportionally, what I would recommend is you can upsize the yarn a little bit and maybe upsize the hook to a size K instead of the J that I use for this design. The Barocco, I use Barocco vintage yarn, which is like half wool, half acrylic. It's like 40, I forget the percentage, but it's roughly half and half. And it's a very lovely fiber. It's a little bit thinner for a worsted weight than, let's say, a Red Heart or some of the other like paint box yarns. So if you wanted then a larger size, what you might want to do is get one of those slightly thicker number 4 yarns and upsize your hook one size. And I think that's all you would really need to do, because of just the shape, and it just fits a variety of sizes. All right. Mm, let me get back to the chat. Oh, Jeannie, so good. Jeannie, let me show you what Jeannie got me. Guys, Jeannie just blessed my socks off when I got to got to Pennsylvania. Look what she did. She got me a whole bag of yarn from Hobby Lobby, I believe it was. So I've got a lot of their I love this yarn. Actually, I've never worked with their acrylic before, so I'm looking forward to working with this. And the reason I haven't worked with their yarn before is because the acrylic is there isn't a Hobby Lobby near me. I have to go quite a ways, and only when I'm in South Carolina. And here's some other yarn. Wow, this is a beautiful color, isn't it? This Dijon color. So lots and lots of yarn. Let me show you in particular. When I looked at this inside, I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be a design. I mean, look at this. Isn't this beautiful? This is sock weight. She knows I love my sock weight yarn. And this is the yarn. Okay, she has 3 of those. Wow. This is the yarn that I was like, uh-oh. I was looking at yarn just like this in the marketplace. And I thought, I know exactly what I'm going to do with this. And there are 3 of these. So be looking for a beautiful wrap scarf with this yarn coming sometime this winter. I've already got the fall design already set, but again, look at this. This is going to be so much fun to work with. So many goodies. And just in case, she got me another set of hooks. I can never have, this makes my second set in reserve. And let me tell you, I have broken into these reserves more times than I care to think about. I think I'm going to put this one in my car. And then another one, I think I'm going to stick in my backpack in the event that I lose a hook while on an airplane and it kind of goes in between the seats and I'm buckled in and can't reach down and get it. Has that ever happened to me? Yeah. You name it, it has. All right. What else am I doing here? Gotta get me a drink. All right. It was so good to see you in the chat, Jeannie. Oh, Esther. Esther, my married friend lady, Esther. So good to see you in the chat. Got a lot of people here. Let me try to do. You guys got a lot of conversation. That is fantastic. You know what? I am probably not going to get to even half of this. I did see Kelly's comment. Oh, okay. Thank you, Becky. Looks like Esther had to leave. I'm sorry I missed seeing her. I just my page was just stuck on where I was from the very beginning. But Kelly wants to know if the baby is a girl or boy. Both of the babies are boys. And Jeannie says, yeah, I'm an official grandma. It is, yes, it is a blessing. I was sitting with Jeannie outside when the conference had ended and we were talking about it. We were still on baby watch because the baby, Caleb's and Christy's baby didn't come until like around 9 p.m. that evening. So a lot of ladies were just so kind there. And because what was happening is I was in class teaching and Christy was in labor for about a day and a half. Well, it was, yeah, they were watching her blood pressure because she had some blood pressure issues and they just needed to be very careful with her. So the 2 days that I was teaching, every time my phone would go off, it didn't go off that much because I turned it off except for family. But every time it would get something, I had to check and I just had to apologize. I said, I'm sorry, you all. I don't usually check my phone quite this much, especially when I'm in a teaching situation. But my daughter-in-law is in labor right now. And I'm just want to keep abreast of what things, what's happening and everything. So everybody was so understanding and people were saying they were praying for her. So that just meant so much to me. All right. We have Meemaw D Crochets. Wow, that is a cool name. Okay, Dawn. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you, Gloria, for the congrats. And CJ, thank you for your congratulations. Yeah, thank you guys. And Marcus, welcome. And Stacy, good morning. She says, good morning, Auntie Hannah. Yeah, aunt. She's an aunt twice over. Hannah, you have more nieces and nephews than I do. I only have one, one niece, and that's it. So Hannah's already ahead of me. She's got two nephews already. Um, oh, Diane, so good to see you. She says, happy to be here. It's a beautiful day. Can't believe I'm early to Bonnie's live. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Um, am I still on? Anyway. um, all right. Let me see. I think I caught up to where I was. And I'm still at the beginning, Becky said. Yeah, I'm still at the beginning. And love to craft to say hi. Let's see, just a quick shout out. And Kelly Dye, so glad to have you here. And Brenda's probably already back to work. Hey, Brenda, thank you for joining us. Great aunt that you are, um, officially times two. And Josie, thank you. And Brenda, Connor from Wheeling, West Virginia. Wow, that's not too far from us here, I don't think. And Becky says, Rex is currently asleep in my arms. He's allowing me to type for now. Good boy. And thank you, Anne. And Wanda Bigelow says she's home for a few weeks. Good for you. Get some rest before the next trip. I kind of we could use a couple weeks before my next trip, but not gonna do it. We're gonna go see some babies. Um, all right. Come on. Ah, hold on a second. Let me click away from this. And we have Lucille. She said, "You haven't loved until you hold your grandchild in your arms." Sincere congratulations from Ottawa, Canada. Thank you, Lucille. I am looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm told that people said they love their grandchildren so much. If they could have had them first, they would have. Yeah. But I'm glad I have my children. I love my kids. They're great. And so sorry I missed Esther, but we have Marie from Pennsylvania. I'm not going to try to mispronounce your city name. And Cynthia says weaving. They may have something like that, Cynthia, at the Pittsburgh Festival next year. They got a lot going on. I realize you guys have been looking into my kitchen in the background there. Sorry about that. And Chris from the Northwest Territories of Canada. Wow. I know it's beautiful up there. And Roxanne. Oh, thank you, sweetheart, for your comment. That is so sweet of you. Thanks for being here. And we have Marley. She said, just got back from a trip to Port Arkansas, Texas. Now back in South Dakota. Yeah, there's a lot of distance there between places out west too, isn't there? I mean, that's a long haul from the Dakotas. Of course, it could take you 2 days to get through Texas. So, yeah. Uh, and Chris Greek, so glad to have you here. And Anna says, "Go get a glass of water." Yeah, I got my beverage. Yeah, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. It's just whatever the voice wants to do, it does. And and Sandy says she's new here but loves to crochet and knit. Well, I think you found the right place. We're primarily about the crochet hook here, but I just don't provide a lot of knitting because I feel like there's so much better content out there. But if I get an idea, a fun knit project, I'm gonna throw it up on my channel whenever. But I just have to put the hook down long enough to do that. But so glad that you're here. Yeah, and Hannah's back in school, y'all. So if you can pray for her, she's still looking for that routine, and the hurricane has kind of thrown it off a bit too. Um, and so glad that you're here, Connie and Sandy. Thank you for wishing Hannah well wishes on her school, Phil. She's gonna need that. She's gonna be swimming with sharks this semester, metaphorically speaking. Um, oh, sorry, Cynthia, about missing the weaving class. Hmm. Oh, well, maybe next year. Okay, I realize you said you had to cancel at the last minute. Yeah, it's too bad. I'm sorry about that. Um, oh, Wanda, that's wonderful. She says, I'm going to be going to be in charge of helping widows through grief. I want to make some prayer shawls for them. I need to decide on a quick stitch to make some up by October 12th. Wanda, I have do I have the project here? I don't think I do. I have a couple of really easy stitch ones on my channel. There's one using, it looks like a granny square, the traditional granny square style, but it's in the shape of a shawl that works up beautifully, um, especially if you're using color changing cakes of yarn, and you can use any size of yarn. You can, use the extra yarn from your stash for those. And let me know what you do. If you can contact me, bonniebay@me.com, I can go through some of my samples, and I might even have some things that I can send you to donate to your cause. So let me know, okay? If you could email me, I can see what I can work out there for you, or maybe even send you some yarn. Excuse me. Someone donated, a neighbor of mine donated some yarn to me just the other day from a friend. So let me know. I can see what I can do. I definitely would like to help with that. Um, And if you need any designs, email me, because I'll be glad to send you some of the patterns for free too as well. So just let me know. I love to help good causes like that when I can. Oh, thank you, Sandra. She likes the cardinal ornament. Yeah, it's so pretty. It's gonna remind me of all those wonderful children at the hospital. Um, and Connie says her dad was a Shriner. He bought some of this little, yeah, the little go-karts, and drove them in parades. Oh, that is so cool. Yeah. And just to let you know, mm, Esther, who is in our chat, Esther has been a patient at Shriners. So has my mother-in-law, my 94-year-old mother-in-law, um, contracted polio not long after she was born, and she had to have several surgeries on her leg. And so she was one of many children in a pastor's family, and she was treated for free at Shriners. It's a great organization. So we want to do whatever we can to help them. Um, and your support through the super chat is huge. So thank you so much. And that, just to let you know, everything that comes in through the super chat, I pay the extra fees, or whatever. I just, dollar per dollar, it is sent to them once we attain a certain amount. And Mrs. WLW, welcome to the chat. And we have somebody there from Nihongo. Ohayo gozaimasu. My Japanese friend. I'm sorry, I can't read the hiragana, but I know it's hiragana and the kanji I see. So thank you. I studied a little tiny bit of Japanese 30 plus years ago. Um, Wonderful language if you have a smart brain. Um, anyway, you have to learn four alphabets: the hiragana, the katakana, hundreds of kanji, which look like the Chinese characters, which are the same as the Chinese characters, but may have slightly different meanings. And then you have to learn what they call the Romaji, which is the Roman alphabet that we use for the English language, and many other languages. So anyway, um, wow, that is so cool. Yeah, thank you for you. Hannah, like Hannah said it well. Thank you for your love and support. Yes, ma'am. And Ann Butler says we have 90s coming back for most of next week here in the northwest Indiana, ready for fall. Yeah, it's gonna, it flexes back and forth before it decides to stick. So yeah, that's gonna happen. And again, Becky, it's so great to see you in the chat. And sorry I missed Esther again. Well, let me show you one more thing. Actually, I have probably more than one more thing. I have two more things to show you. This is coming on Monday. There's a better picture of it on, I've posted better pictures of it. I have a new Christmas tree skirt. Peekaboo. So coming, let me go ahead and fold this. It looks better when it lays out flat, and you know how these things are. But I've added 3 buttons to this, and when you put it down on the ground, you can kind of make the little picots lay flat. You just have to push them down there. This crochets up incredibly fast. It is made using a size L or 8 or 11. I mean, it's L or 11 or 8.00 millimeter crochet hook. It is the braided Christmas tree skirt. It lays completely flat, and you can unbutton the buttons so that you can set it around the Christmas tree. So you can unbutton it and then, set it around the tree. You can have the buttons in the front, and you can get some really fancy buttons if you want, or you can put the buttons in the back, just whatever you want to do. This uses one pack of the Lovecrafts paint box yarn. So one 10-ball pack. Um, and the video comes out Monday. This is already on the Watch channel. I uploaded it it was already uploaded. I uploaded the complimentary written pattern that will also be in my Lovecraft store if you're not a subscriber member on my Watch channel, but the pattern is already there to be downloaded. And the way this is crocheted is holding two strands of yarn together throughout with the size L hook. So you're working in big, cushy stitches. It is 10 balls of yarn, but it's like crocheting something up with 5 balls of yarn. So essentially, you're talking 2 times 10. It's like making something with 1,000 yards, even though you're using 2,000 yards. And I checked online this morning about the yarn. Lovecrafts has it on the big 10-pack on sale right now. It's 35% off. Okay, so it's regularly $47.50 for a 10-ball pack, and it's on sale now for $38. So, and I think if you've ever ordered from Lovecrafts, I do have an affiliate link listed in the video description below. You don't have to use that link. It doesn't cost you any more. It just gives me a little bit of credit when you do that. But I love this yarn. It works up beautifully. And okay, so there's good news and bad news about the colors available. Okay, the bad news is the rose red that I used for my Christmas tree skirt is on back order. So you may not be able to get the 30, you may not be able to order it today. If it's on back order, they don't do rain checks. You have to wait till it comes in. Okay, so that's the bad news. Okay, and I used the red rose color. The good news is they have 3 other colors you could use, and I think would look even better. They have a color called red wine, number 215, which is kind of a beautiful burgundy color. I think it would look even classier than the red. My opinion. I'm glad I have it in red. It looked good the way I took the picture, and I like the way it turned out. But the red wine color, I think, would look stunning. They also have paper white, and they have a color called vanilla cream, which, a paper white would be just very white, and the vanilla cream, which is number 207. Those 3 colors are still available, and they do have it on the site. But if you use the coupon code 10 balls 10 BALLS in the coupon section when you check out, you'll get the reduced price. So I know that's available today. This is August 31st, 2023. So I know it's available today. Now, whether it's available, how long it's available at that discounted price, I don't know. And how long those colors will be there, I don't know. But if you are looking for, a braided Christmas tree skirt, you can check that out, or you might even have some in your stash. You can also use Red Heart or, any other brand. Just Just you need 2 strands of a worsted or number 4 weight yarn held together, and so you're gonna need about 2,000 yards total. Again, you're doubling it up, so you're doing, 2 strands at a time and a size L hook. So that's that. Excuse me. So the pattern in my Love Craft store should be available soon. We're releasing the video on Monday. Again, it's available right now, pattern and everything on my Love Crafts uh, site. And there is one other thing I have got to show you. Mm. So I haven't gotten any heads up from Becky or let me double check from Becky or Hannah. Yeah, okay. So no urgent questions. Now I want to show you something that's a game changer. I made a video yesterday with my friend Laura Bellows from Jewel Design, spelled capital J, capital U, capital L, Jul. Um, it looks like this. So I'll hold it there for a second. You might be able to go to that site. Okay. I also have her link in the video description below. Let me get a shawl here to show you what I'm going to be working with. Going to be working on a video to explain all of these, how they work, different sizes. These are little. Whoops. Let me show you. These are buttons. They're different sizes. She has different designs. And she has some that I don't have samples of that I'm going to be talking about in the video that are just absolutely gorgeous. So what do you do with these things? Well, and she has different geometric shapes. Okay. She calls these stud buttons because they're buttons for your shawl. You see that? And remember she had these closures. I think she's kind of phasing them out where you have like little screw ins for fixing your shawl in place. These are a game changer. Instead of having a little screw in, you just push. Let me show you. Let's say I'm going to wear my shawl. Okay. And I'm just going to show you. And instead of wearing a shawl pin, and you know how pins can stab you for one thing, but you're always having to kind of fool with it. Okay, you put this through the layers just like that, and then pop the button just like that on the back side, and so you have this beautiful button. And let's say I want to put let me do it in a different place, because one problem that I have with wearing these is securing all of the fabric, um, all the fabric together. So what I can do with these is I can pop the button through like this. This is the back side. And these are very secure. And let me get another one. Ooh, oh yeah, let's just go with all the same tone. I'm going to do a triangle here. I'm gonna pop that there. And I'm gonna do another one here. And Laura is the master of just playing with these things, and I'm gonna go ahead and use this one. And coming up with different ways, just non-traditional creative ways to wear. So you see how easily those popped on there. And so you can just put your scarf on, and these aren't going anywhere. You can change the way you wear your shawl. And there's a bunch of things that you can do, and I can even add another one, let's say up here, where the fabric is prone to migrate. Put another one right here. They're pretty, just a nice little reflective addition, and lots of different ways to wear these shawls. But she has a lot of different designs, and she currently has. She's trying to determine whether to go with a kind of a kind of a brushed nickel or a brushed metallic look, or a polished metallic look on some of these. It's hard to get these to focus right. But she has a lot of others to select from that are even prettier. Some have the real nice little swirly designs. And so anyway, you can check out her site if you want to. I really enjoy these. I'm going to be bringing these to my classes. I'm going to be wearing these some more. She also has things like the cuffs, which is kind of it's a shawl cuff. It's another way to secure where you can just kind of, bulk it together and wrap. So she has a lot of different options. It's just very decorative, um, very, very fun ways to secure. In fact, I have one here that I love to wear. It has a little hummingbird on it. So yeah, come on fall, so I can get out my shawls again and wear them. And what's nice about this too is you don't have to, like with the shawl pin, you don't have to take it out and put it in. You can just, take it off like this and then put it back on. It's already set for you. You don't have to worry about it. Oh my gosh, it's 1 o'clock. I was going to show you one more thing. Again, I apologize for not getting to everybody's comments. I am going to read through these as I eat my lunch. Once I'm finished, I am going to read through your comments. So thank you for putting them there. And thank you again, Hannah and Becky, for making everybody feel welcome. I think you're going to want to see this one more thing. It's from my friend at lambshopkits.com. It's using her yarn. Do you remember I was using this yarn? It's called Prized. And they are dyeing their own yarn now, and they have some gorgeous stuff on their site. This is 100% baby alpaca. It's a DK weight. And I hope you like this. This will be coming sometime in October, probably mid-October. And it's called the Big Hearts. It's hard to hold the whole thing up, but Big Hearts, Little Hearts baby blanket, using a DK weight yarn. Of course, if you don't want to make it is, I know, expensive doing the baby alpaca. It feels amazing. Okay, can you see that? So you have little hearts over here, lots of popcorn, and big hearts in the middle, little hearts at the end. The drape to this is just beyond amazing. Of course, this is more for an heirloom style gift. I know I generally don't make many baby alpaca gifts for babies that are going to spit up and stuff, but for those special photographs and very, very special babies, it can be a lot of fun to make something like that. Of course, if you don't want to do it in this kind of yarn, you can certainly replace it with any DK weight yarn that you can find. And if you just even wanted to do a solid color yarn, I think a solid yarn would look fabulous with this. So looking forward to bringing this out in October. So be looking for the Big Hearts, Little Hearts baby blanket coming in October. So I wanted to get that out there. I wanted to share that with you. You're the first to see that. I haven't shown that anywhere else on social media just yet. It's similar to a design that I made many years ago. But I did change it considerably by adding the smaller hearts, adding more cabling rows. So there are some similarities, but it's definitely an upgrade, much different than the original. So I hope you all like that. I had just gotten so many requests for taking the Aaron Hart's Throw, which is a free pattern courtesy of the old Red Heart yarns from 11, 12 years ago, when I designed it for them. Of course, if you go find it online, they've Your Inspirations has taken my name off of that pattern, but it is mine. I did that many, many years ago. Um, and by the way, if you do try that pattern, try to stick to the video because they have made some alterations to the pattern. I have no control over that, which don't jive with the way the pattern is really supposed to be crocheted. So you may want to just stick with the video, which is as accurate as I can possibly have made it. So anyway, um, let me go ahead and I'm going to just skip on down and see how everybody's doing. Oh, thank you. Okay, you guys like it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, and Cynthia says her husband does much of the dyeing. He's very talented. Yeah, her husband is doing a lot of that. She's very busy. She's got these three beautiful little children at home, and but just she's just an energizer bunny. Emily is just working. She just very good at what she does. Very cheerful, lovely young lady. I'm looking forward to meeting her someday. I still never have met her in person, but I feel like we know each other so well. All right. Well, let me go ahead and read something. I wanted to just read a little bit of encouragement because um, I know, we try to be upbeat and positive and encouraging, but I mean, I know it's not all roses and butterflies out there. And I read this a couple days ago, and when I read it, I'm reading out of my Besides Still Waters book by Mr. Spurgeon, a 19th century preacher man who I very much I love reading his writings. And I do have the link if you're looking for a book like this, either for yourself or for a friend. It is a Christian book. It is, written for people who are believers of Jesus. So just want to be clear about that. Everybody, whether you believe in it or not, are welcome to my channel. I love everybody, but I just like to specify that this is written um, with directed at people who are people of faith. So I just don't want to give anybody false promises out there who maybe aren't. But certainly, if you're not, it's certainly something you can look into, and you can always reach out to me. I'll be glad to chat with anybody that has any questions about this. But anyway, there is a link in the video description for this book. It's available on Amazon. Let me go ahead and read. This is based on Psalm 94:19. And the title is A Multitude of Anxieties. I think it's just related to me very well, and I'm hoping I think it will you as well. He writes, some of you are perplexed with a multitude of anxieties about your life. You do not know what to do. One plan was suggested, and for a time it seemed the best action. But now you have doubts. You are bewildered, and you cannot see Providence's clue. You are lost in a maze. Indeed, at this moment, you are depressed. You have tried various ways and methods to escape your present difficulty, but you have been disappointed and are distracted. Your thoughts have no order. They drag you in opposite directions. The currents meet and twist as if you were in a whirlpool. And I'm just going to add this in. I just love the way this man writes because he's such an amazing man of God, sorry. Um, but he also suffered from depression as a pastor. And just wanted to insert that. And I feel like I can relate to him because, like I said, everything's not all, puppy dogs and butterflies around here all the time. Um, but this is where we go. My perplexed friend, remember the children of Israel at the Red Sea. Whew. The sea was before them, rocks were on either side, and the cruel Egyptians roared in the rear. Imitate Israel's actions. Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. That's from Exodus 14:13. You reply, I cannot be quiet. I am agitated, perturbed, perplexed, tossed, and distracted. What shall I do? And this is a verse from Psalm 94:19. In the multitude of my anxieties within me, your comforts delight my soul. Spurgeon writes, turn your eyes to the deep things of God. Cease from anxious consideration of seen things, which are temporary, and gaze by faith on things that are eternal. Remember, your way is ordered by a higher power than your will and choice. The eternal God has fixed your every step. All things are fixed by the Father's hand. He who loved us from before the foundations of the world has immutably determined every step of our pilgrimage. It is a blessed thing, after you have been muddling and meddling with your anxieties, to throw your burdens on the Lord and leave them there. I hope that encourages somebody out there today as much as it encouraged me. Um, and I just want to wish you all a wonderful week. And I hope to see you next Friday. I'm not sure where I will. I should be here. I should be here. So I hope to see you next Friday. Same crochet time, same crochet channel. God bless. Bye bye.